But technically, we received very little technical training. Mostly how to drive it and how to fight it. But the Sherman is the most ubiquitous tank in World War II. The Americans made, I think, 48,000 or something like that. And it came in a number of different configurations. The one you see here was exactly the first tank that I had. It's exactly the same tank, just the way you see it. It weighs about 33 tons. It has a 9-cylinder air-cooled radial continental aircraft engine. That's what it's powered by. And it has a 75-millimeter gun, which is basically a howitzer. And there's 5 people in that thing. And they don't come back at night into barracks and take a shower. So don't get that idea. 5 people live in there, and I was in there from about November to May, November 44 to May. And we went to Singling, the Alsace, Bastogne, and then to the Rhine, all the way to Czechoslovakia. But I had 2 crews. I lost one in Bigonville, but not close to Bastogne, and the second one in Bitburg. So the second tank was a 76-millimeter. As I said, it came in various upgraded formations. The one you see has 5 people in there: the driver, the bow gunner, the tank commander, the loader, and the gunner. 3 in the turret and 2 down here. The most useless weapon in World War II was the bow gun, the machine gun down there, because it couldn't be sighted properly, and the bow gunner was supposed to be an assistant driver. Well, in all the months that I rode in the darn thing, and nobody in the company ever knew the assistant driver ever drove. Probably the most important figure in the tank is the driver, not necessarily the tank commander. Of course, the tank commander is important, but the driver is very important, because if he conks out,
you're not going anywhere.
We are supposed to know how to drive, all 5. You're supposed to take any position. You're trained that way. But if you're not a driver with experience, you can get into real trouble driving 33 tons. And depending whether it has like this one, a rubber track or a steel track. Now, steel track on an icy road, think about it. You have to realize that there's 2 levers which brake each track. And if you want to come to a stop, you're supposed to veer down and pull both levers. But if you're going about 15, 20 miles an hour on an icy road, and you come to an emergency and you don't have time to shift down, you pull both levers. You want to stop, and you're not going to stop. You're going to slide all over the place. You're going to hit something. And I can tell you that because that's what happened to me. That's what happened to me. So the worst thing about this tank was the gun sight, as opposed to the Panther. Now you're looking at the Mark V, the Panther German tank. Also has a 75-millimeter gun, and that's a 75-millimeter gun. The muzzle velocity of this thing is about 1,800, maybe 2,000. This one's about 2,700, right? Close to 2,800 feet per second. And it's a flat trajectory, high velocity weapon.
This is the Sherman that you kind of have to launch things.
Well, that one's more like a howitzer.
Right.
For us to be effective against this baby, you have to get in about 600 yards. When you start shooting at this thing in any other distance, the shot will glance off. You're not going to shoot that on. This one takes one shot at 1,500 yards, and will go one end of this thing and go out in the other. Believe me, I know. The thing is, the scariest thing about the German was was a gun sight. This thing had a naval gun sight, and it took a good gunner 2 shots minimum, sometimes 3, to hit a target at 600-700 yards. This guy could take an aim about 1,200-1,500 yards. Put the target in its gun sight, 1 shot, bullseye every time. German size gun sight. And it's scary, let me tell you something. The first time, and the same thing, it's a Mark IV Forerunner of this guy, and has the same exact gun sight. The first time I saw the gun sight was in a little town called Walsheim in Alsace in November 1944. And this guy was sitting in a square in a small town. Actually, it's a village. It was abandoned. And the earphones were hanging out, so my tank, the company commander, Jimmy Leach, said, Sator, you speak German, go ahead, I want to know what the hell they're talking about. So I put the earphones on, and listening to it, but we were getting artillery, and one of them hit not too far away and shoved me right against this thing. And scared, I just about, you know what I did. So I tore out of the earphones and ran back to my tank and head first. And my tank commander chewed me out. He said, what in the daylights are you doing? But anyway, when I went back into it, I climbed in after the barrage was over, and I looked into the gun sight. But the German gun sight, look through it, and naturally it's round. It's calibrated in meters, and there's a hairline going up and down. Any of you ever had a Leica camera? Leica camera has a sort of a rangefinder, so when you're taking a picture, you look through the thing, and you turn the lens, and the 2 pictures come together. The same thing here, except it had a hairline going up and down. So you put the target in a little circle with a dot. Put the target right there, and you turn the scope. And this hairline goes up and down. When it hits the dot, down here you read down in meters the distance. You put the elevation wheel, the same number on the gun, and you hit the solenoid. Bullseye. Now this thing had adapted from the Navy, a naval gun sight, which has a vertical line, hairline, 8, 16, 32, 64, and a triangle with a dot on top. So the tank commander hollers out, target tank or house or barn or whatever it is, 600 yards. So if you're the gunner, you creep up on the vertical line to the target, and where the horizontal line is. And if it's 8, it says 8 and 16, so you figure, well, it's about halfway. You need experience. It's okay, fire 1. He says, you're 50 under, elevate. Fire another one, you're 25 over, right? By this time, if you got something like that, you're dead, basically, or you got to get the hell out of there, you got to move. It takes a good gunner with experience. So that was one of the drawbacks on this tank. The advantages were many more, because we had a power turret, which you could, the turret could go around by power. It has a lever on the right side, and the gunner grabs it, or the tank commander, he can whip that thing around. The Germans didn't have a power turret. They had to hand crank. And I think this is easier to maneuver. It's a 5 forward speeds, and this thing has 7. It's 7 forward speeds, and it's very hard to drive. The Panther is a hard thing to drive. The Sherman was fairly, once you get onto it, it's not too hard. You just got to get used to the fact that you've got 33 tons under you, and it's hard to stop. So Anything else I can?
No, that's good.
Huh?
Brilliant.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck, like Tom. Tom's a good dude.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
He's got the strongest handshake of anyone I know. He said, you got the strongest handshake of anyone I know.
that's what's left of me. Yeah. Thank you much.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate